Happy fall, everybody. As you know, it's been harvest season and we've been doing everything we can to keep everything going. Part of our harvest is our garden and our orchard. We are working on apples today and we've been doing a lot of applesauce canning of many different kinds. We've done apple butter and apple pie filling. Yeah, today is apple cider. So if you saw a previous video, it's been a couple years since we've got it out. We've been doing lots of things. This is the handy cider press. Now, the reason I didn't do it last year is I got busy and our apples tend to be biannual. So if you work on them, you can reverse that. I'm trying to get this in here. There you go. The Eagle Machine Company, Lancaster, Ohio. Yeah, pretty neat old thing. So I had an older, actually a newer model, and it was a little higher, very convenient, a little slightly bigger basket. It was actually a little too big for the amount of cider that we make. Now, I believe that somebody at some point may have done something to this from what he was saying. I don't know 100%. It seems short to me. We can't fit a 5-gallon bucket underneath it. We've always had to use our big stainless steel like popcorn bowl or set it up on blocks. So setting it up on blocks is the easiest answer because you're going from this container. Everything is, you know, soaking. It's been sitting in the sun. It's got its last coat of a bleach rinse. And we are going to be bringing this in the house later today. I suppose in the house. They're out here picking the last of the apples from this tree and another one over here. Most of the orchard is done, but those were the highest apples that we needed Mom or Dad to get up the orchard ladder and pick them with an extension pole. So let's go back there and check it out. You can go play.
No, why can't I just spray it?
Oh, spray it? I don't want you to get all wet. And I got cleaner on it, and I don't want that in our cider. So I got to make sure I get it all off. Otherwise, we're going to be drinking bleach, and that would be gross. Right? Hose your shoes usually end up with.
I turned it all the way up.
You don't hear yours. I've showed the backyard orchard many times. Most of this has been here before we lived here. and it's been slowly dying off a little bit here and a little over there this year. We planted a whole row of new baby ones here, one in between there. And we're going to probably add a couple more on the other side there. We've added a couple through here, and he likes the old-fashioned trees that get so big like this, but it's always really hard to get those last apples at the top. I figure it's always good to leave a few behind for the wildlife. We pick up the apple drops every year for the cows and the pigs. This fall we don't have any pigs, and the cows have thoroughly been enjoying them. But as you can see, there's just a few left right there that are out of reach. They'll get left behind, and we'll let the birds have them, or let them fall for the deer. So this is a Roma apple chopper. It works okay. I almost think it would be wiser to run them through my food processor, or even something like a motorized chopper. This is slow going, but the kids really enjoy doing it, and it's the old-fashioned way. So we've had it for some years. You know, it was one of those things we thought we really needed it, and we probably could have done without it. So you put your apples in here. We have an expansion hopper on the top, which doesn't work for it because the apples end up getting caught in here. So we'll set that up on the countertop and clamp it down with C-clamps. And we will sort the apples as far as cutting out any bad spots, chopping them slightly smaller, and then putting them through that crusher, because whole apples just don't go through it very well. And that's why I'm saying like a motorized one might go a little better, but we're still a lot of times having to put a wooden spoon down in there to kind of help them out. So Halloween is coming up in a couple of days, and this is a Halloween tradition, is going and getting pumpkins, going to a cider mill, having cider and donuts. Well, today we made a double batch of brownies, and I said, well, you know, this coffee is good, but let's go ahead and make the cider. Dad was all for it, and it saved him a date of going out and spending money that we didn't need to spend. Being frugal again, as always. Many years ago, one of our first dates was at a cider mill, and here's a good shot of many years after that, going out to the cider mill with my father and my daughter to get pumpkins and to get cider.
That's better. Don't be a goofy pooper when it's not for
No.
So here we all clamped on the counter, ready to go. And here the family has brought me 2 5-gallon buckets of apples. I've got some in the house. Maybe I won't do more pie filling. It's really good to switch up your varieties of apples for a nice taste. I've done a lot of these with all red. We don't know all the varieties of the trees that we have, so all the more reason to mix it up. The baking ones are a little more tart, and then you get that crisp, nice taste, and not so syrupy cider by doing it that way. So the family's efforts of growing pumpkins was very successful. With it being fenced, the deer only got a few that had been around the yard in the last couple of days. The kids helped us decorate, and we tried to keep them up here into the fall for Thanksgiving, but now that they've been out in the yard on display, the deer have been eating the ones that I've been leaving around the bottoms of the trees, because it's just pretty to come up the nice driveway, and now the leaves have all dropped from the rain. And they have been destroying some of the pumpkins that have been left out here. But we carved our pumpkins for Halloween last night. Today we're doing cider. We roasted some pumpkin seeds, and we'll be harvesting some more. See that? They just came along and ate them.
It's oily.
Fall and harvest season are always a lot of fun decorating for the whole family. As you can see, we've been decorating inside also. Miss Bethany, our creative artist in-house, has been busy. So we start out by washing and chopping the apples so that they don't get jammed up so much. The big apples I cut into quarters, the smaller apples into halves. And the nice thing about this is some people do use their drops if they're not there a long time. If they're there for too long, you end up with hornets on them and slugs. So guys do pretty good here, just like this. So it's chopping them up. And that's what I'm talking about, like, it doesn't always get them all. So that's where you use the wooden spoon to push down on them to get them to go. And this is what's coming out. See that? Nice apple pulp. And you can use a paint strainer. It's much finer mesh, like a nylon. This is, I don't know what that material is. But it's mesh lining like what goes in your swimming shorts. So you could make these. We ordered 2 of these. We bleach them a little bit in the rinse water at the end of the year and the beginning of the year. And then we will transfer that bag to this bucket, turn the crank, and then, I don't know where they put it. Oh, it's behind it. A wooden board sits on top, pushing pressure down, and it'll squeeze it out. So our popcorn bowl is a great big stainless steel bowl. You can see a 5-gallon bucket is too high for that. I have seen that Menards, they have a 3-gallon bucket. I think I'll pick one up tomorrow. So here we got Guy. See, it goes really easy. And the way this designed is, you can put a 2x4 in there to help turn it once it gets down tight. Now slow down, Trey. Yep. You got to do a little bit at a time, because if you go too much, it puts too much pressure on this board. And this board, it's tongue and groove. Each board fits together. But a couple years ago, I had to kind of patch her up. I had been covering it in plastic, so I glued the seams and recovered it with a new coat of food safe lacquer. So we're going to raise it up. We're going to reposition this because it's not pushing evenly, and just try to get it a little bit better. Somebody probably remade this at one point. Okay, go back down. There you go. There. Now, nice and slow. I do a little bit, and I do a little bit more. Georgie, do you have a cup? Do you have a cup?
Yeah, if you have a cup, you can just grab some out of there and drink it.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Samples. These guys are doing real good. We've all had a sample, and we've already got our first half-gallon all pressed. So we've got some more cider making to go here. We are on our second bag. We're just waiting to finish off. It's really good to have that board on the top of that to tighten it down so that we can give it just a couple more passes. But this is where we're at so far. It's time for us to take a break. We've got a roast in the crock pot, stuffing on the stove, and some green beans to eat with some homemade banana bread for dessert. So as always, everybody, thanks for watching. Happy fall, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.